So you see I've got a new training partner. I know that you probably don't have this in your house. If you go to a gym, they're going to have these, and that's going to be a great thing to use. You can also use a physio ball, the Swiss balls, the inflatable balls that people use for like core training and whatnot. But you want to use a small one. You don't want it to be a really, really big difference between the size of the person that you're actually going to be rolling with and the ball, right? Because I want to train in as close of a position as I possibly can. So the reason why I'm using this is it's unstable, right? So if I have this available, I want to use it because it's going to move under me, and I want to be practicing this from an unstable environment. So I'm going to post up. It's been a while, right? But I'm coming up, knee, close the butt, switch side. Okay? Now, going back to my other partner, and one thing I'll say, and I know this is a bit late now, I have a punching bag in the garage. And again, that's a piece of equipment I don't assume that you would have, which is the reason why I'm using blankets. A punching bag is going to be a lot more realistic than a blanket's going to be. So, get into this position. Maybe he's turning into me. Maybe I've got another reason for doing this. Maybe I just want to be a showy jackass. Whatever. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be very careful of his head, right? I am going to step over his head. I'm facing his hips now, and I'm going to do a little pee-pee dance. My knees are coming together. Both knees are on my partner at the same time. I'm going to post on his hip, right? And because my weight is on this leg, I'm light on this one. And I watch out for the head, and then I reestablish on this side. So, my hands are here, shoulder and hip. I'm going to put my hand on the hip. A lot of times I will actually go for this cross hand grip, or I'll just do it in the middle of the transition. But again, here, post both knees on at the same time, pick up, being very careful of the head. Okay, so I'm here, post, step wide, so all my weight's in that knee. He's carrying my weight through this. I don't want to put my weight on my foot. I'm going to come in, piggy dance, and step out, right? So, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to be here this time, and this is going to be his head, right? So I've got this, and I step around, and you can see that pee-pee dance. Both knees are on at the same time. I put my hand on the far side hip as I pick this one up. This one is established, well established before I pick this one up, and I step around his head. Okay? So, if this is his head, the next one I'm going to go ahead and give you is kind of a easy slide into mount, or a capoeira slide into mount is what my coach would call it. So from here, I've got two knees on. I'm going to put this one up by the shoulder, right? I'm using my hands to post, right? That's fine. I'm going to slide away around, and I get into this position. This guy's a little bit short here. And I get here, and then I tuck into mount. I think that's a little bit of dance. I showed it. It's fancy. We'll get to it a little bit later on, and we'll do it with an actual person, because I think that's going to be a lot more effective than necessarily using blankets for this. But the way that we're going to get into mount, right? I am in this knee right position, right? And I'm going to post out this direction, right? So my head's going out that way, so I need that post so I don't get rolled, right? I'm going to come down. I'm going to tuck. This knee is now on the ground. I've slid off his body. It's just kind of a seatbelt now. I slide under his heels, slide under. And then from here, this is going to be my mount position. And I'm going to show you it from the side. So, my pressure is my hips on his hips, right? So I'm here and here. My connection is my feet between his feet. I'm not crossing my ankles. I'm not really grapevining, and I might show that when I have a partner. The thing is, if somebody grapevines you and they're grapevining really hard, they're committing their leg to that position. So if I'm stuck here and he's grapevining on my leg here, that'll clear that hook, right? And now he's lost that connection. It's going to allow him to start to escape. It's going to be really hard for him to recover that, especially, you see that my foot is off the ground. Now my knees close that gap. My knee is on the ground because my heel is up, right? So when I'm in a mount position, my legs are under his thighs. I'm not putting weight on my knees. They're close to the ground. If they touch the ground, that's fine, right? But I don't want to put my weight on them, because if my weight's on them, my weight's on my partner, right? So I'm driving my hips up. I'm kind of skydiving here. My hands are out to post. My feet are together, not crossed, not grapevine. And I'm just maintaining this. This low mount is going to be your easiest position to maintain, right? There are definitely things that people can do. Nothing is infallible. And if I start getting things in the comments of, yeah, but what if I do this? Your techniques are complete bullshit. What if I do this or this? There's always an answer to every technique out there. Even the most screwed up, I'm about to lose positions, there's always an answer. Maybe somebody hasn't found it yet, but there always is. And so don't try to get too worked up on finding that one perfect technique. It doesn't exist. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying in the introduction video, that your success is all about how much time you spend on the mat. So when you're going through these positions, when you are working techniques and you're rolling consistently, you're going to find what techniques work for you, right? And you're going to find that people are going to do things that get really annoying, and then you're going to figure out a way of counteracting all those moves. So really, having habits is what we're trying to develop here. I'm not trying to get you to memorize techniques, right? You should do this. You should do all these techniques. Absolutely, you should be doing 1,000 reps of everything that you do. And that is, 1,000 reps over time, not in one sitting. But, we usually do 3 to 5 minutes per partner drilling one movement, right? So with the one that we're working on right now, I'm in this nice, clean, perfect knee ride. I post out, I slide off onto the mat, right? I post out, and I hook under his butt. And then I belly out, and I get my other leg in. And then I'm up here. And I'm going to do that probably 10 times at least before we switch and let my partner do it. You could do 5 and 5, but really what I want you to be doing when you're switching back and forth is I want you to be paying attention to what your partner's doing that you think is good, right? Because they're going to do it a little bit differently than you. You're going to be paying attention to what you're doing and then what's sloppy, and try to figure out, okay, what's not working here? How can I fix that? So when you're working on these techniques, do enough reps so that you can start cleaning it up, right? And a lot of times, especially these positional movements that we're working on right now, when we usually start a class, this is like 3 classes that's in our curriculum, 4 classes, something like that we are going through right now very easily, or like this. So when we go into, like, let's say it's a top attacks class, right? And we're learning how to attack from that side control position, or from that switch base, or scarf hold, or knee right, or something like that. We don't start in that position, right? So if we're going for a top attack position for a far side armbar, or cutting armbar from the far side, we'll start in the guard. We'll pretend like the guard's already broken. We'll do kind of a knee cut pass. Right, we'll get into this position, and then, they start to frame up on me, so I get that arm down to the ground. Maybe he ends up on this side, I pull up, and I just get that pinch, and I hit that arm bar. You see, that's kind of how we do it. And as that class progresses, we're getting further on and get more advanced as it goes. All right,